Episode 49, Identity Shifts, Letting Go of the Old You. Welcome back to Let the Story Write Itself. I'm Sarah. Today we're talking about something we all face but rarely talk about directly: identity shifts. Letting go creates space for your next evolution. What are you still holding on to that no longer fits? Those moments where you realize you're no longer the person you once were, but you're still carrying habits, beliefs, or labels from your old self. For me, this showed up right after university. I'd spent years in an environment that gave me the structure, clarity, and a defined role: student. My identity was wrapped up in that label. But once I graduated, it felt like the floor had disappeared. Suddenly, I wasn't the student anymore, and the career path everyone expected me to follow didn't feel right. It was both liberating and terrifying. I had to make the conscious choice to let go, not just of an old label, but of who I thought I was supposed to be, to make space for who I was becoming. In this episode, we'll explore how to recognize what you've outgrown, when you've outgrown an identity or role, why letting go is essential for growth, even when it feels uncomfortable, how to navigate the messy middle between who you were and who you're becoming, practical tools for releasing old patterns and stepping into your next chapter. If you've ever felt stuck because you're clinging to an old version of yourself or scared to let go of what feels familiar, this episode will give you the clarity and courage to move forward. And the thing is that in the space between university and who I then became in my later 20s is the space where I allowed myself to simply become rather than trying to fit myself into who I thought I should be. Who I became then was no longer student, employee, person who had to fit into certain boxes or things as they were. And instead, I created my own path. I allowed my intuition and my soul to lead me. And what happened is that I went on a year-long plus worldwide trip, and this led to me becoming essentially a solo worldwide traveler. If that even is a title, it's like I defined my roles and my way of being in the world, not by necessarily the titles that already existed or that someone else gave me. I created my own titles: solo female world traveler. I became an investor essentially. I became my own person. I was self led. I went as I felt called to. I had a certain level of freedom that one simply does not ask other people to give them, because it's something that only you can give to yourself. And in that space of time, I lived so many different experiences and worldwide experiences, experiences that are more true to me than had I stayed in any particular position or job that had been created. Similar to the role of student, where you follow like a syllabus, you follow that pathway of being in a program, something that's created by someone else. And instead, I ventured that off the path of having something that someone else created, and instead decided to go off the charts, so to speak, and listen to my own intuition and create something of my own free will, of my own inner compass. And this led me to, I started riding my bicycle a lot more. I became really fit actually. I started eating a lot more healthy. I built up my stamina. I got a lot of my mind in order. I let go of a lot of clutter that was otherwise kind of keeping me more more in a parochial state of mind, like being surrounded by my material comforts, the things that I was always paying attention to, and got more outside of my comfort zone, expanded my world in many ways, physically and metaphorically, mentally and spiritually, essentially. And what that looked like then was the fruition of this year-long plus round the world trip. And that is really how moving into a new identity occurs. It's when you realize that the old one no longer fits. Maybe it never did in the first place, and you simply allow the space for a new one to emerge. And that's the thing about identity shifts. They rarely announce themselves with the clear instructions. You usually realize it in small and subtle ways. The hobbies you used to love don't excite you anymore. The career or business that once felt like your calling now feels like a cage. The people you used to relate to now feel out of sync. Yet we often hold on because it's familiar. That old version of you is safe. You know how to be that person. For me, after university, I didn't just lose the student identity. I had to let go of that idea that life was supposed to move in neat, predictable steps. My peers were taking jobs in their fields, signing leases, building stable lives. I was moving towards something unknown, trusting an inner voice that said, there's more for you out there. That letting go was uncomfortable. It meant surrendering the illusion of certainty and stepping into a space where I didn't have all the answers. And here's what I learned: you can't grow into your next version if you're busy defending your old one. When you release the old labels, you create space for the skills, experiences, and relationships that match who you're becoming. You don't have to destroy the past version of yourself. You can thank them for getting you here and still choose to evolve. So, here are some takeaways. Identify what's outgrown. Write down some rules, habits, beliefs that feel heavy or outdated, which ones no longer align and with who you want to be. Give your old identity gratitude. Take 5 minutes to thank your past self for what they taught you. This makes letting go feel like honoring, not rejecting. Define your becoming statement. Write one sentence starting with, I'm becoming the person who, and fill in the rest with traits, actions, or values that excite you. Release symbolically. Let go of one physical object or digital file connected to an old identity. Clearing space physically helps you clear it mentally. Anchor into the new. Pick one small action this week that your next version of you would do and do it. Repeat until it feels natural. And actually, a more current example is the even new identity that I'm moving into now in this phase of my life. I've been a world traveler, an investor, a free spirit for pretty much the entire past decade, and haven't fit myself into any one particular box of a position or a role defined by society, or even have I defined myself by what I was doing. Have always been more of someone who am I being right now? What am I actually living? What is my moment to moment, day to day experience like? And this is exactly who I've been. World traveler, been to over 55 countries solo now, slow travel, like month long travel at a time where I don't necessarily have a deadline. It's open ended and I get to structure my time. I get to lead myself. I get to decide what I choose and what I don't choose. I've been an investor where I've made my own resources work for me and be able to capitalize on them and appreciate them more than putting my time, exchanging your time for money, exchanging your life for money, essentially. I have chosen to, what's that saying? It's not the years in your life, but the life in your years. I've pretty much expounded on that principle. And at this point in my life, like a decade later, this is who I've been being, it's like my whole vision and who I'm becoming has only expanded and become so much bigger. The things that once felt like a stretch for me, something that expanded me, are now just everyday life, is an everyday occurrence for me. And I'm looking into the next big stretch. And for me, this is really a shift in my own, not only energy, but also the physical space around me, the emotional landscape, the mental landscape. It's all taking an up level and upgrade. There's a lot more sinking and realigning into this new version of me that's coming into fruition. And it's the same principle again. It's allowing that space. It's letting go and letting God. It's simply allowing your intuition to take the reins and trusting where that takes you. It's simply being. It's a creation. It's a creative process. It's something that unfolds as you simply walk the path. It's something that you simply be, right? It's not necessarily a role or something that you do or something that society has defined and that you simply put yourself into that box, that well-defined box of like an employee role, a position that has been created that you know, do an exchange or whatnot. It's like I am the sovereign being that creates my own path, that aligns to my path, that allows my true path to unfold according to my inner compass. So, letting go doesn't mean losing yourself. It means making room for the version of you who's been waiting to step forward. So here's my challenge for you this week. Identify one thing, big or small, that you're ready to release, and then do it. You might just find that letting go isn't an ending, it's your beginning. If this episode resonated, take the Realm quiz on my Instagram, Sarah Fair, to see where you are in your journey, or connect with me for coaching so we can map your next chapter together. Until next time, remember, the old you got you here, the new you will take you further. And this is episode 49 of Let the Story Write Itself.